Hello everyone, and welcome back to When She Broke Us channel. Today, we have an incredible story, one that's dark, emotional, and shocking. It's a story about betrayal, humiliation, and the kind of heartbreak that leaves scars you can't see. We're sitting down with a man whose story will take you through a whirlwind of emotions, and I promise you, this is one you won't be able to look away from. From the first moment, through the betrayal, to the shocking aftermath, this is raw, unfiltered truth. So sit tight, make sure you're not alone for this one, and hear it straight from him. Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us your name and a little about yourself, and then share your story with us?
I knew my wife was cheating on me 3 weeks before she asked for space. The funny thing is, I was completely wrong about everything except that one fact. Started with her phone. Not the usual cliché. No mysterious texts lighting up at midnight. No sudden passwords on devices that used to be open. It was simpler than that. Emma stopped reaching for it. For 15 years of marriage, that phone had been practically grafted to her hand. She'd check it at breakfast, during commercials, even once during sex. She apologized, said it was her mom. But that April, the phone just sat there, on the counter, face up, like she wanted me to see there was nothing to see. I'm a software engineer, which means I notice patterns. It's not romantic, but it's kept us comfortable in our 3-bedroom colonial in Westfield, New Jersey. I built my career on spotting the small inconsistencies in code that lead to catastrophic failures. So when Emma's behavior changed, my debugging instincts kicked in. The second thing I noticed was her coffee. Emma had drunk the same vanilla latte from the same Starbucks for a decade. Every morning, she'd stop at the one on Elm Street on her way to her job at the marketing firm. Then suddenly, she switched to the location near the train station. Different direction entirely. When I asked about it, she said they made it better. The next morning, I drove past both locations. The one on Elm had been renovated, all new equipment. The other one looked like it hadn't been updated since 2010. She was meeting someone. I didn't confront her. That's not how I operate. I needed more data points, more evidence. I needed to understand the full scope of the problem before attempting a fix. The third thing was her sister, Rachel. They'd always been close, but that spring, Rachel stopped calling the house. She'd only text Emma directly. When I ran into Rachel at the grocery store in early May, she looked at me like I was already gone, like I was a ghost she was trying not to acknowledge. She made an excuse and left her cart half full in the frozen food aisle. Rachel knew. I started documenting everything in a spreadsheet. Date, time, anomaly observed, possible explanations. I know how that sounds, but data doesn't lie even when people do. By the end of May, I had 47 entries. 47 small tears in the fabric of our life together. Emma had started going to a yoga class on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. She'd never mentioned yoga before. When I suggested I might join her, I'd been meaning to work on my flexibility. She said it was a women-only class. I checked the website. It wasn't. She'd also started volunteering at a community garden on Saturday mornings. This from a woman who'd killed every houseplant we'd ever owned. I want to do something meaningful, she'd said, which felt like an indictment of our entire marriage compressed into 7 words. The Saturday morning shifts meant she was gone during the exact hours I usually played basketball with my college friends. For 15 years, she'd complained about those games, said I should spend more time at home. Now she was practically pushing me out the door. I stopped going to basketball. Instead, I followed her. The community garden was real. I watched from my car, parked 3 blocks away, as Emma actually pulled weeds and planted tomatoes. She was terrible at it. But she was there, doing exactly what she'd said she'd be doing. I felt ashamed and relieved in equal measure. That night, I convinced myself I was paranoid. Stress from work, maybe. We'd just finished a brutal product launch. I was seeing patterns that didn't exist, finding problems in clean code. Then came the gallery opening. Emma's firm was launching a campaign for a local artist, some guy named Devin Marcus who did large-scale abstract installations. The opening was on a Friday night in June, at a gallery in Chelsea. Emma had been working on this account for months, often staying late at the office. She'd shown me his work online. Lots of twisted metal and fragmented mirrors, the kind of art that makes you feel stupid for not understanding it. "You should come," she'd said, which surprised me. She rarely invited me to work events. "You sure?" "Yeah, it'll be fun. You can see what I've been working so hard on." The gallery was packed. Manhattan creative types in expensive casual wear, holding wine glasses like props. Emma introduced me to her colleagues, and they all acted like they knew exactly who I was. "The husband," they kept saying with strange emphasis, like it was a punchline I wasn't in on. Then I met Devin Marcus. He was exactly what I'd feared. Tall, angular, with silver streaks in his dark hair and the kind of artistic stubble that probably took him 20 minutes to achieve each morning. He wore a black t-shirt that probably cost $300 and jeans that fit him like they'd been painted on. When Emma introduced us, he shook my hand and looked me directly in the eye. "Your wife is brilliant," he said. "This campaign wouldn't exist without her vision." "She's very good at what she does," I replied. "She certainly is." The way he said it, the micropause before is. I wanted to hit him. Instead, I watched them throughout the evening. They didn't stand too close. They didn't exchange secret glances. Emma didn't laugh too hard at his jokes or touch his arm when she spoke to him. It was all perfectly professional, perfectly appropriate. Which made it worse, because I knew what I knew. On the drive home, Emma was energized in a way I hadn't seen in years. She talked rapidly about the turnout, the positive feedback, the potential sales. She looked beautiful in the passing streetlights, alive with purpose. "Did you like his work?" she asked. "It was interesting. That's what people say when they don't get it." "I don't get it," I admitted. She smiled. "That's okay. Not everything has to make sense immediately." I wanted to ask her what she meant by that, if she was still talking about the art. But I didn't. That Sunday, we had brunch with my brother Marcus and his husband Chin. They'd been together for 20 years, married for 10, and had the kind of easy intimacy I used to think Emma and I had. Over overpriced Eggs Benedict, Marcus asked how things were going. "Fine," I said. "You look tired. Big project at work." Emma changed the subject, asked about their recent trip to Portugal. But later, when she went to the bathroom, Chun leaned in. "Everything okay with you too?" "Why do you ask?" "Because she's checked her phone 6 times in 40 minutes. And you've been watching her do it." I didn't know what to say to that. "Whatever it is," Marcus added, "talk to her. Don't let it fester." I promised I would. I didn't. Instead, I did something I'm not proud of. The next day, I installed monitoring software on our home router. I told myself it was for security purposes, protecting against cyber threats. The truth is, I wanted to see what Emma was doing online when I wasn't looking. The data was mundane. Email, social media, online shopping, work documents. Nothing suspicious. No secret email accounts, no dating apps, no encrypted messaging. She wasn't even clearing her browser history, which meant she either wasn't using our home internet for her affair, or I really was losing my mind. The breaking point came on a Wednesday in late June. I came home early from work, something I rarely did. I'd left my laptop charger at home and had an afternoon meeting I couldn't miss. I pulled into the driveway at 2:30 in the afternoon, expecting an empty house. Emma's car was there. So was another car, a silver Tesla with New York plates. I sat in my car for 5 minutes, engine off, trying to decide what to do. Every crime drama I'd ever watched said burst in, catch them in the act. But I couldn't move. It's one thing to suspect your wife is cheating. It's another to have the proof right there, to know that walking through your front door will detonate your entire life. Finally, I got out of the car, walked up the path we'd laid together 7 years ago, used my key in the lock we'd installed after the house was broken into in 2019, stepped into the foyer where we'd kissed after our wedding, carrying her over the threshold even though we'd already lived there for a year. I heard voices in the kitchen. Emma's laugh, the one she reserved for people she actually liked. A man's voice, deep and warm. I walked down the hallway. Each step felt like walking through concrete. They were sitting at the kitchen table. Emma and a man I'd never seen before. He was older than me, maybe 50, with gray hair and reading glasses perched on his head. They had papers spread out between them, a laptop open, 2 cups of coffee. They both looked up when I walked in. "James," Emma said, surprised but not guilty. Not startled. Just surprised. "You're home early. Forgot my charger." I looked at the man who was already standing, extending his hand. "You must be James. I'm Robert Chin. I work with Emma." Different Chun. Not my brother-in-law. I shook his hand automatically. "We're working on the Devin Marcus campaign follow-up," Emma explained. "The conference room at the office is being painted, and it was so nice out I suggested we work from home. I should have texted you." "I'm sorry." "No problem," I said. My voice sounded normal. "I'll just grab my charger and get out of your way." "You don't have to leave," Robert said. "We're almost done here anyway." But I left, got my charger and went back to the office. Sat at my desk and stared at code I couldn't focus on. Because everything had been perfectly innocent. A colleague working on a legitimate project, in the middle of the afternoon with nothing to hide. So why did I feel worse than if I'd caught them in bed? That night, Emma ordered Thai food, my favorite. We ate on the couch, watching a show we'd been meaning to catch up on. She rested her feet in my lap like she used to. Felt like acting. Like we were both playing the roles of a happy couple for an audience that didn't exist. "I'm sorry I didn't text you," she said during a commercial break. "It's okay. I didn't think you'd be home. You're never home in the afternoon." "I know." She was quiet for a moment. Then, "James, are we okay?" This was my chance. The opening I'd been waiting for. To ask the questions that had been eating at me for months. To tell her I knew something was wrong. That I could feel the distance between us growing. That I was drowning in the space where our intimacy used to be. "Yeah," I said. "We're okay." She didn't look convinced, but she didn't push it. 2 weeks later, on a muggy Tuesday evening in July, Emma came home from her yoga class and asked if we could talk. We sat on the back deck, watching fireflies in the gathering darkness. She had a glass of wine. I had a beer I wasn't drinking. "I need space," she said. There it was. The confirmation I'd been dreading and anticipating in equal measure. "Space," I repeated. "I know how that sounds. I know what you're thinking. But I need time to figure some things out." "What things?" "Me things. Us things. I don't know, James. I just feel like I'm disappearing. Like I've been someone's daughter, then someone's wife, then someone's colleague, and I don't know who I am when you take all of that away." It was a good speech. Honest sounding. The kind of thing you'd read in a self-help book about midlife crises and identity. "How much space?" I asked. "I don't know. A few months, maybe. I was thinking I could stay with Rachel for a while. Give us both time to think." "This is about him, isn't it?" She looked at me, genuinely confused. "Him who?" "Devin Marcus. Robert Chin. Whoever he is." "James, what are you talking about?" "I'm not stupid, Emma. I know something's going on. You've been different for months. Distant. Like you're already gone." She set down her wine glass carefully. "There's no one else. I swear to you there's no one else. This isn't about another person. This is about me feeling lost in my own life." "I don't believe you." "I know," she said softly. "I can see that you don't. And maybe that's part of the problem." We sat in silence for a while. A neighbor was grilling something that smelled like charcoal and lighter fluid. Someone's kid was laughing in a backyard 3 houses down. "Okay," I finally said. "Okay. You want space. I'll give you space. I'll move out." "James, you don't have to." "No, it makes sense. This is your house too. You shouldn't have to be the one to leave." The truth was I couldn't stay there. Couldn't sleep in our bed, eat at our table, exist in the spaces we'd built together while knowing it was all ending. "Where will you go?" "I'll figure it out." I left a week later. Packed up my clothes, my laptop, some books. Rented a 1-bedroom apartment in Cleveland. Yes, Cleveland. I had a job offer there I'd been sitting on for 3 months, a position at a startup that was doing interesting work with AI. I turned it down because Emma's career was here, because our life was here. But now none of that mattered. Emma cried when I loaded up the U-Haul. Said this wasn't what she wanted, that she just needed time. I told her I was giving her time. All the time in the world. "We'll talk though, right?" she asked. "Sure." We didn't. Cleveland was exactly what I needed. A city where I didn't know anyone, where I could rebuild myself from scratch. I threw myself into the new job, worked 12-hour days, made the kind of progress that gets you noticed. I joined a gym, started cooking actual meals instead of living on takeout. On the surface, I was doing great, thriving even. At night, though, I'd lie awake in my empty apartment and wonder what Emma was doing, who she was with, if she missed me at all. I didn't call her. Pride mostly, but also fear. Fear that if I called and she answered, she'd sound relieved to hear from me. Or worse, she wouldn't. 3 months passed. Fall arrived in Cleveland with that particular Midwestern chill that gets into your bones. I'd gotten into a routine: work, gym, grocery store, apartment. Sometimes I'd go to a bar near my office, nurse a beer and watch whatever game was on. I wasn't lonely exactly. I was just alone. Then, on a Tuesday in October, my phone rang at 2 in the afternoon. Emma's name on the screen. My heart did something complicated in my chest. I almost didn't answer, almost let it go to voicemail, maintained the silence we'd been living in. But something made me pick up. "Emma?" But it wasn't Emma's voice that responded. "Hello? Is this James Patterson?" A man's voice. Deep, unfamiliar, with a slight accent I couldn't place. "Who is this?" "My name is Michael. I'm calling from Emma's phone. Are you her husband?" "Yes." "What's going on? Is she okay?" "She's fine. She's right here, actually. But we need to talk to you. Can you come back to New Jersey? It's important." "I'm in Cleveland." "What's this about?" "Put Emma on." A pause. Muffled conversation in the background. Then, James. Emma's voice, but different. Smaller. "Please come home. I need to explain something to you." "We both do." "We." The word came out sharp. "It's not what you think. I promise you it's not what you think. But I can't do this over the phone. Please." I was already pulling up flights on my laptop. "I can be there tomorrow." "Thank you," she whispered. The call ended. I sat there holding my phone, trying to process what had just happened. Michael. A man named Michael was with my wife, answering her phone, asking me to come home so they could explain something. I knew it. I'd been right all along. The thing is, I wasn't angry. I was relieved. The uncertainty had been worse than any truth could be. Now I'd finally know. Now it would be real, concrete, something I could respond to instead of this endless fog of suspicion. I booked a flight for early the next morning. Didn't sleep. Went through every scenario in my head. How I'd respond when she introduced me to him. Whether I'd shake his hand or hit him. How quickly I could get a divorce attorney. Whether I'd keep the house or let her have it. The flight was delayed, which felt appropriate. I sat in the Cleveland airport, drinking bad coffee, watching families and business travelers and people who probably weren't about to have their entire lives explained to them by their wife and her lover. I landed in Newark at 3. Drove straight to the house in Westfield, our house, which I realized I still thought of as home even after 3 months away. Emma's car was in the driveway. So was a black Honda Accord I didn't recognize. I sat there for a moment the same way I had that afternoon in June. Except this time I didn't hesitate. I got out, walked up the path, and used my key. They were in the living room. Emma on the couch, looking smaller than I remembered. And next to her a man. But not the man I'd expected. Not Devin Marcus with his artistic pretension. Not Robert Chun from her office. This man was younger than me, maybe 30, with dark curly hair and nervous hands that wouldn't stop moving. He stood up when I came in, and I could see he was shaking. "James," Emma said, standing. "This is Michael. My brother." The words didn't compute. "What?" "My brother. My twin brother." "You don't have a brother." "I do. I've always had a brother. I haven't seen him in 23 years. I looked at Michael, then back at Emma. I could see it now, the similarity. The same dark eyes, the same slope of the nose. How had I not noticed on the couch? Because I'd been looking for a lover, not a sibling. "Sit down," Emma said. "Please." This is going to take a while. And so they told me. Emma and Michael had been born in Portland, Oregon, to parents who were too young and too addicted to raise one child, much less two. When they were 7, Child Protective Services split them up. Emma went to a foster family in New Jersey, the Hartmans, who later adopted her. Michael went to a family in Seattle who also adopted him, gave him their last name, Morrison. The Hartmans never told me, Emma said, her voice tight. They said my parents were dead, that I was an only child. They never mentioned you. Mine told me the same thing, Michael added. Said my sister had died. I believed them until 6 months ago. 6 months ago, right when Emma's behavior started changing. How did you find each other? I asked. DNA test, Michael said. I did one of those ancestry things, just curious about my roots. Emma showed up as a match. Immediate family. I almost ignored it, thought it was a mistake. But then I saw her picture, and it was like looking at a female version of myself. I got the notification in April, Emma continued. I was having coffee at Starbucks, the one by the train station, and I got this message from a stranger saying he thought he might be my brother. My twin brother. The coffee. The changed Starbucks. She'd been meeting Michael. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't know how. Because I was afraid you'd think I was crazy. Because my entire life, everything I thought I knew about my past, turned out to be a lie. Her voice cracked. I needed time to process it, to understand what it meant. We've been meeting in secret, Michael said, trying to piece together our history. Emma wanted to be sure before she told anyone. She wanted to understand who I was, whether I was legitimate, whether I could trust you, Emma interrupted, looking at me. Whether this would destroy the family I'd built with you, the yoga classes, the community garden, the Saturday mornings. All of it was Michael. Rachel knows, I said. I told her a month ago, swore her to secrecy. I was going to tell you, James. I was building up to it. But then you looked at me like you knew I was hiding something, and I panicked. When you asked for space, it seemed like the universe was giving me more time to figure this out. I didn't ask for space. You did. I asked for space because I could see you pulling away from me, because I knew you thought I was cheating, and I couldn't figure out how to tell you the truth without it sounding insane. Hi, honey. I'm not having an affair. I'm just secretly meeting with the twin brother I didn't know I had. Does that sound believable? Fair point. I looked at Michael, who was watching this exchange like he was intruding on something private, which I guess he was. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. For the past 6 months, while I've been going crazy thinking you were having an affair, you've actually been meeting with your long-lost twin brother. Yes. The changed Starbucks. The yoga classes that weren't yoga classes. The Saturday mornings. The phone that you stopped checking because you were texting him on a different phone. A burner phone, yes. I know how that sounds. It sounds like an affair. I know. We sat there in silence. Michael cleared his throat. I should go, he said. No, I said. Stay. I have questions. So Michael stayed and we talked. For hours. He told me about his life in Seattle, his career as a middle school teacher, his husband Aaron. Gay twins, I thought. What were the odds? He showed me pictures of the family that had raised him, told me about his search for his birth parents, which had ended in disappointment and dead ends until the DNA test. Emma told me about her research, her own search through foster care records and adoption papers, about confronting her parents, the Hartmans, who'd admitted they'd known about Michael but thought it was best to let sleeping dogs lie, who'd thought erasing her past would give her a better future. They did it out of love, Emma said, though she didn't sound convinced. They thought knowing I had a brother out there somewhere, a brother I couldn't have, would hurt too much. Did they even try to keep you together? I asked Michael. No, the system doesn't work like that. They wanted us both in stable homes as quickly as possible. Together, we were harder to place. Separated, we both found families within a month. It made a horrible kind of sense. I'm sorry, Emma said to me. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you. I'm sorry I let you think the worst. I was so overwhelmed. My entire identity, everything I thought I knew about where I came from, it all changed overnight. And I was afraid. Of what? That adding this to our marriage, which was already feeling fragile, would break us completely. It was feeling fragile because you were lying to me. I know. I was wrong. Michael stood up. I really should go now. Emma, we can talk later. James, it was, well, not nice to meet you under these circumstances. But I hope you can understand why she did what she did. Wait, I said. Can I ask you something? Sure. That day in June, when I came home and found Emma with someone at the kitchen table. Was that you? Emma and Michael exchanged glances. No, Emma said. That was actually Robert from work. We were working on the Devon Marcus campaign. Then who was the person in the silver Tesla? What silver Tesla? The car in our driveway. When I came home early. Emma frowned. There was no Tesla. Robert drives a Toyota. I thought back to that day. The silver car with New York plates. I'd been so focused on the confrontation I was about to walk into that I hadn't paid attention when I left. Had the car still been there? I honestly couldn't remember. Maybe it was a neighbor's friend, Emma suggested. Maybe. Probably. My mind had been so primed to find evidence of betrayal that I'd invented it where none existed. Michael left. Emma and I sat in our living room, in the house we'd bought together, in the life we'd built that suddenly had a completely unexpected new wing added to it. I don't know what to do now, she said. What do you want to do? I want my husband back. I want to stop feeling like I'm drowning in secrets. I want to get to know my brother without feeling guilty about it. Her voice broke. I want to rewind 6 months and do everything differently. I want that too, I admitted. But we can't. No, we can't. We talked through the night. Really talked, maybe for the first time in years. She told me how isolated she'd felt, how the weight of the secret had been crushing her. I told her about the spreadsheet, the router monitoring, my certainty that she was having an affair. We laughed at the absurdity of it, cried at the waste of it. I should have trusted you, I said. I should have told you. We're both idiots. Spectacular idiots. As the sun came up, we were still sitting there, exhausted but lighter somehow. The truth, even a complicated truth, was better than the silence we'd been living in. So what now? Emma asked. I don't know. I have a job in Cleveland. A lease on an apartment. Do you like it there? It's fine. The work is good. But do you like it? No, I admitted. I hate it. I hate being away from you. I hate that I let my pride keep me from calling. I hate that we lost 3 months because we were both too scared to be honest. Come home, she said. Please, come home. What about space? What about you needing time? I needed honesty. That's what I needed. And now we have it. It wasn't that simple, of course. I had to give notice at my job, break my lease, move everything back. We had to go to couples counseling, had to rebuild trust that had been eroded by months of suspicion and secrecy. We had to figure out how to integrate Michael into our lives, how to build a relationship with this person who was genetically Emma's closest relative but a stranger in every other way. But we did it. Slowly, painfully, honestly. The funny part, and by funny I mean the kind of cosmically ironic funny that makes you question reality, came 2 months later. We were having dinner with Michael and his husband Aaron. They'd driven down from Seattle to spend Thanksgiving with us. It was strange and wonderful, this expanded family we were creating. Over dessert, Aaron said, So Emma, I have to ask, when you first reached out to Michael, weren't you worried he might not want a relationship? That he might be angry about being given up? Emma shook her head. I was terrified, but I figured if he'd done the DNA test, he was looking for connections. Why else do it? That's what I thought about you, Michael said. That you were looking. Wait, I said. Emma, when did you do a DNA test? I didn't. Michael's results just showed me as a match because... She stopped. Looked at Michael. You did the test. So my DNA had to already be in the system for us to match. Right? Michael said slowly. But I assumed you'd done one too. I never did a DNA test. We all stared at each other. Then how? Aaron started. I felt something cold in my stomach. Rachel. Emma's face went pale. Oh my God. Rachel. Her sister Rachel, who'd been acting weird for months, who'd avoided me at the grocery store, who'd known about Michael before anyone else. Emma pulled out her phone, called Rachel, put it on speaker. Hey, Rachel answered. How's dinner with Michael? Ratch. Did you submit my DNA to a testing service? Silence. Rachel. I can explain. Explain what? Did you steal my DNA? I didn't steal it. You left your toothbrush at my place after that weekend visit in March. And I'd been thinking about doing one of those ancestry tests. And I thought it would be fun to see our results together. So I did both of ours and you didn't tell me. I was going to, but then your results came back with this immediate family match and I panicked. I thought maybe Dad had another kid or something. Then I looked into it more, found out about the foster care system, about you having a twin, and Emma, I didn't know what to do. Our parents had lied to you your entire life. How was I supposed to tell you that? So you just, what? Told Michael to reach out to me? Pretended it was his idea. I created a fake profile and messaged him from it. Told him he had a twin sister in New Jersey and gave him your email. I thought if it came from him, it would be easier. I thought I was helping. Emma was shaking. You let me think I was crazy. You let me hide this from my husband. You watched our marriage fall apart and said nothing. I was trying to protect you, just like Mom and Dad were trying to protect you. Sometimes people lie because they love you. Emma hung up. We sat there in stunned silence. Michael broke it first. So I reached out to my sister because her sister stole her DNA, took a test without her knowledge, and then manipulated me into making contact. That about sums it up, Aaron said. This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, Michael said. And I once accidentally took a school field trip to a funeral home. Despite everything, we laughed. Because what else could we do? Later that night, after Michael and Aaron had left for their hotel, Emma and I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. My whole family is insane, she said. Your whole family loves you, I corrected. They're just spectacularly bad at showing it. Are we okay? She asked. After everything? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, I said. We're okay. We're better than okay. We know how to survive the worst thing we could imagine. And it turned out the worst thing wasn't even real. The pain was real. The pain was real, I agreed. But so is this. So are we. She turned to face me in the darkness. I love you, James Patterson. I love you for coming back. For listening. For not giving up on us. I love you too. Even though you're related to actual crazy people. So are you now. By marriage. God help me. We fell asleep holding hands. And for the first time in months, I didn't dream about betrayal or loss or the empty space where my marriage used to be. 3 months later, Emma confronted her parents. It didn't go well. They defended their decision, said they'd done what they thought was best. Emma told them that erasing half her identity wasn't love. It was cowardice. We don't talk to them much anymore. Rachel apologized, repeatedly. Emma eventually forgave her, though their relationship is still complicated. I understand why you did it, Emma told her. I just wish you'd trusted me enough to do it differently. Michael and Aaron visit every few months. Michael and Emma are building a relationship slowly, discovering shared mannerisms and preferences, laughing at the weird cosmic joke that kept them apart for 23 years. Aaron and I have become friends, bonded by our shared experience of loving people with spectacularly complicated family histories. As for me, I learned something important. Sometimes the story you tell yourself is more dangerous than the truth. I convinced myself of a betrayal that didn't exist, built an entire narrative of infidelity from coincidences and innocent explanations. My certainty had been my enemy. These days, when I notice something off, I ask instead of assume. When Emma seems distant, I talk instead of document. We're not perfect, no one is, but we're honest. And the irony? After everything, after the separation and the revelation and the painful rebuilding, our marriage is stronger than it was before. We survived my certainty of her betrayal. We survived her fear of my reaction. We survived the lies and the truth and everything in between. Last week, Emma got a text from an unknown number. My old instincts kicked in, the suspicion, the need to know. I watched her read it, saw her expression change. "Who is it?" I asked. She showed me the screen without hesitation. It was from Michael. "Found a photo of us as babies. You have to see this. He finds something new every week," she said, smiling. "It's like discovering a whole part of myself I never knew existed. That must be strange." "It is, but good strange. The kind of strange that makes sense once you stop fighting it." I kissed her forehead. "Want to get coffee? We could go to the Starbucks by the train station." She laughed. "That place makes terrible lattes." "I know, but it's where you found your brother. Seems worth celebrating." So we went, got overpriced, mediocre coffee, and sat by the window watching strangers pass by, each with their own complicated stories.
Wow. That was an incredibly intense and emotional story. Thank you for trusting us and sharing such a personal and painful experience with such honesty. Your journey, from betrayal, humiliation, and heartbreak, to reclaiming your life and dignity, is truly powerful, and I know it will resonate with many of our viewers who have faced similar struggles. To everyone watching, this story is a reminder of the strength we all have inside us, even in the darkest moments. If Michael's story moved you, made you think, or helped you reflect on your own life, I encourage you to leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or simply your support. It all matters. And don't forget to subscribe to When She Broke Us for more raw, real, and unfiltered stories of betrayal, resilience, and personal growth. Every story here reminds us that even through pain, there's a way to reclaim our power and dignity. Thank you for watching, and remember, your strength is greater than any betrayal, and your voice deserves to be heard.